Hi, this is Desi Flores in Dallas Hall, and we're here today with Tyrell Fortune, who is joining us the day before he fights. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you have a lot going on today, and you chose to join us for this interview. So thank you for that. It looks like you're enjoying a nice meal right now.
Yeah, I just got finished eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was your meal today?
Omelet, bacon omelet with some vegetables, peppers, onions. Nice, simple, light breakfast.
Still so healthy.
Must be nice to be a heavyweight and not have to worry about that stuff, huh?
Well, everybody made weight already, so everybody can eat now. But of course, I've been eating.
Weigh-ins were at what, 10:30 or 11:30?
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
What'd you weigh in at?
243.
Your opponent?
251. He was out of shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. I mean, well, it said, compared to like what his Sure Dog account said, he's usually around 235, 240. So he's looking like 11, 15, 14 pounds overweight, or what he normally competes at.
Right. Because he came in on, what was it, like a couple day notice?
Monday was the day he actually signed for the fight. So it's pretty crazy. This never happened to me. I mean, I've had guys drop out, but not the week of.
Right.
How does that feel for you? I mean, was it a different? Yeah, I mean, this is your third opponent, right? Third or fourth guy.
This is actually the sixth.
Sixth guy. I mean, has it been difficult for you to focus or stay concentrated at all?
Well, I mean, really the only difference was my last guy was a southpaw, and that would have been my first southpaw fight. And so, of course, the whole strategy was completely different fighting a southpaw for me. But I mean, not much, because he's an orthodox fighter. That's mostly what I spar against, mostly what I practice against in practice. So it just goes back to being more comfortable, back to the original game plan as always. So it's not much difference, really.
Right. So Monday, did you think you almost didn't have a fight then? Did they tell you we will get somebody, or were you like, I may not fight?
Well, at the beginning of the conversation, my manager was kind of messing with me. He didn't really tell me they had got another opponent. So at first I was pretty bummed. I didn't think I was going to be able to fight. But then at the end of our conversation, he's like, "But don't worry, we already got an opponent." Blah 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 blah. So it ended up turning out that it was cool.
Good. Good.
And this guy's got a much different skill set, in my opinion, than some of the last guys that you had. I see that he has pro boxing experience. He likes to throw hands. Does that change your game plan at all?
No, I think actually it kind of works into my game plan a little bit more, because I always try to go out there and show a little bit more boxing, and then obviously if I want, whenever I want to, I can take it down to the ground. So it still works for me.
Look, I mean, I was talking to Desiree about this. I know me and you have had this argument many times. Are you the best wrestler in MMA?
I think right now it's kind of hard not to say that. I mean, I think obviously I got to start fighting bigger names and bigger guys to show that. But to me right now, looking at it right now, I feel like I am the best wrestler in MMA.
Now, this is your fifth MMA fight. And I know that you had mentioned to me before that you're not one of those fighters that just wants to start calling out huge names. You want to make sure that you develop your skills and go up over time. Do you think that after this fight, you're kind of going to want to start calling some of those names out? I mean, you are a very high level athlete, even though you are, it is your fifth MMA fight. You're a very skilled high level athlete. Do you see yourself kind of getting ready for that transition to want pretty tough opponents?
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna necessarily call someone out. I think they're gonna once they get ready to transition me in there, I think they already have an idea of who they want me to start off with, just to still kind of progress me up the ladder a little bit more. But I'm not. That's what I'm not. I'm not worried about fighting everybody. I mean, as we know, the heavyweight weight class is very shallow. So there's not very many guys for me to fight before I get to the top tier anyway. So I think just fighting those little low tier guys first is always a great way to start, just so they can't call me out and feel like that they were skipped over. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of the heavyweight division, I mean, Bellator has really been having a lot of movement with the heavyweight division. They got the heavyweight tournament going on. Right now we're in the semifinals. We get Chael Fedor and Bader versus
Mitrione.
when you look at that and you see those 4 guys, do you see yourself being able to fight those guys soon, or is that something that you're thinking maybe I'm going to wait a year or so?
Oh no, I think I could fight those guys tomorrow. I mean, I think just with the pedigree I have already and the experience that I feel like I've picked up now, I think I would feel comfortable fighting those guys tomorrow. It's just a matter of building more of I think a base around everything, and just like I said, I don't want to skip anybody. I want everybody to get some.
Now, I get it. When you're talking about the wrestling, obviously you're way different size than Henry Cejudo. So you're going to compare you to DC. What makes you, in your experience, say that you're so much better of a wrestler than DC?
Well, because we wrestled, and I put the works on him. And it's not that I'm so much better. It's just that he's so far removed. You know, I'm still only like 3 years away from being on the USA team. He's about 9-10 years away from being his last competing on the USA team. So I don't think that it's just like my skills are better. I just think I'm closer to wrestling still, and I still wrestle a lot. I feel like I wrestle a lot more than he does. So that's all. I just think his skills have gotten tarnished a little bit because he's not in the game.
Now, you had originally, before your MMA career began, you were invited to join the WWE, and for a good amount of money, and you chose to follow the more athletic route instead.
Yeah.
Is that something you could see in the future yourself possibly doing after your MMA career looks like it's done, or is that something you've never had an interest in doing?
I mean, I think maybe when my MMA career is done, that's something I might look into. But I feel like there's so many different avenues after MMA that I would rather pursue, more like actually acting instead of fighting. You know what I mean? And just other things that are now coming up, like CBD. I'm actually just got involved with a CBD company from one of my old coaches, so now I'm an ambassador for that, and I think that's really about to kick off. So I'm looking to just get into anything possible, anything I can really that I can use my MMA career off of. But I would rather look at acting in the real movies before going into the WWE. Play fighting just isn't something I feel like is for me. I don't like, and the fact like they choose your character. You don't have a choice and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna let somebody dictate how to talk or act and things like that.
So let's go down this road, man. If you had a character, what would it be?
Oh man, I don't even know who I would. If I had to pick, I'd be more like a Stone Cold Steve Austin type. Rude, disrespectful, interrupt everybody, just talk shit right in your face, drink beers all day. that was who my superstar was growing up, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I'd probably try to give a little bit of mixture of those two guys.
Nice. You know, I know you've been working at ACS with Trevor quite a bit on your stand-up. I mean, with having such a high pedigree as far as wrestling goes and grappling goes, are you primarily at this point focused on stand-up training?
That's all I focus on. This camp, I did 0 jiu-jitsu. Our jiu-jitsu coach was actually really pissed because I did 0 practices I did 1 practice actually for jiu-jitsu, and that was just to review submissions that I had already went over and gone over. But I mean, I just feel like right now at this time in the game for me, jiu-jitsu is not that important because of my wrestling background. I don't feel comfortable on my back as it is. I'm never gonna try to submit anybody off my back, you know. So just other than learning the submissions, I don't feel like it's really like a purpose for me to learn too much of it right now. Maybe later on in my career when I start trying to do jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. But if I'm not doing a jiu-jitsu tournament, I just don't see it to be important, at least offensively, too much offensively. Defensively, yes, you want to know where you can't put your arms and your legs and things like that. But other than that, I don't see myself getting caught in too many submissions.
How old are you?
28 on the 4th.
Okay. How long do you see
you were born on
for?
Independence Day?
Yeah, and on Independence Day. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. It comes after your fight.
Right,
you do whatever you want to do and celebrate.
Well, yeah, I will.
I mean, when we talked about the heavyweight tournament a little bit, I wanted to just ask you again, when you look at the 4 guys that are left, who do you see winning that tournament and being the Bellator heavyweight champion?
Well, I mean, if we break down the 2 fights right now, I think Chael has a really big chance of beating Fedor. I still think people are looking at him like an underdog really bad, but he's a strategist, man. He's so smart when it comes to learning how to beat his opponents and depicting their weaknesses. I think he can beat Fedor. And then you see Matt Mitrione and Bader. I think that fight right there is really like a flip of the coin. You never know if both of those guys come out and they're at the top of their game and they're fighting at the best they can. I think that's going to be a great fight. But still, I mean, Bader has his wrestling pedigree over Mitrione. I think they're both kind of equal on the feet. I see Matt being a little bit quicker, more footwork on his feet than Bader. But I'm not sure. I think the finals is going to be Chael and someone else. And whoever wins that fight. But I think Chael's going to beat Fedor. I mean,
That is very intelligent.
Bomb, you know, and that's it.
Do you still, I know Dallas had mentioned to me, your brother trains with Chael, right? Do you still ever go down there and train with him?
No, I don't. I don't try to train with my brother at all.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah. We're so different as far as like our discipline and our commitment to the game. And it gets too personal with us.
That makes sense.
You know, it's just too personal. And I'm really aggressive in that sense. So I think it's just a lot of pressure for him. And I don't want to unmotivate him or make him feel in the back, just put him down, make him feel like he's below me or anything like that.
Right.
Well, that's very nice of you, by the way.
Well, I mean, we're twins, you know, so our whole lives we've always been compared. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for him, I've been more successful. So for him, I feel like the comparison's always been negative, aimed at him like, why are you never as good as your brother? Why don't you do this like your brother? And so if I don't want to do that right in front of his face where his teammates now say something like that to him or things like that, you know?
I mean, size-wise, you guys are much different too, right?
Yeah, I'm about 40 pounds bigger than he is.
Yeah.
And you're a lot bigger than your upcoming opponent, correct? I mean, not in weight, but in height
and just frame of body, yeah.
So how do you see the fight going tomorrow?
Well, I'm finishing him in the first round. And so I'm gonna come out, I think the first 2 minutes, come out throwing hands, see where he's at, and then take him down and ground and pound elbows. But it's not past 5 minutes.
You know, I've said this to you. I've said this on air. I've said this to anybody who will listen. I am 100% belief that if you stay on the right progression, you could be the best heavyweight in MMA very soon. So I wish you the best of luck, man, and I hope you go out there and smash this dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck against Giovanni Serran tomorrow, and we'll be watching. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Anytime. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro.